Hey, I'm Daniel with the Nostril, and today I want to talk to you about an underrated gem of a vetiver fragrance from the house of Miller Harris, which is in itself kind of an underrated house. I rarely hear it talked about, and people are missing out. The fragrance itself is Vetiver Insolent or Vetiver Insolent. They're an English house, so I'm just going to go with the English pronunciation. Vetiver Insolent. It is one of the best vetiver fragrances that I have discovered in the past year, and you should definitely check it out. So if you want to hear more, you want to hear about the note breakdown, you want to hear about the situations that I think it's going to be appropriate to wear this, you want to hear about pricing, stay tuned. We're going to talk about it today. So that's right, as you heard in the intro, today we are talking about a scent from the house of Miller Harris. They are a British house called Vetiver Insolent. Insolent, of course, is a name meaning kind of cruel, maybe a little bit sadistic almost. I'm not sure I agree with the name. This is a really pleasant vetiver fragrance. Of course, I agree with the vetiver part of Vetiver Insolent, but I'm not sure if this is kind of cruel and unusual in a way that the word insolent really kind of brings to me. I guess there's another meaning of the term insolent, which is kind of, you don't listen to authority, you don't listen to commands. If someone is insolent, then they're not following orders. And in a way, this is such a unique vetiver fragrance that in that way, definitely, this is an insolent scent. So this is a vetiver along the lines maybe of Fat Electrician by État Libre d'Orange, maybe along the lines of Vetiver Tonka from Hermes, maybe along the lines of Bal d'Afrique from Byredo. But it's not quite doing the same thing as any of those. That kind of candied chestnut note that a lot of those fragrances that I just named has, that sweet resinous thing that's going on there is done here with elemi resin rather than that kind of candied chestnut note. And honestly, I like it better. Elemi as a resin is a light, kind of airy, almost citrusy smelling resin, and so it doesn't have that kind of heavy quality, and so it makes the scent a lot more, I think, versatile than some of the heavier offerings with the similar DNA. Especially, I'm thinking of Fat Electrician and Vetiver Tonka from Hermes by Jean-Claude Elena. The perfumer here, by the way, is Matthew Nardin. He's done some pretty interesting stuff. I think he's done all the scents for Kira NYC as well. And I've been impressed with that line. In particular, Santal Sky, which is kind of working with the DNA of Santal 33, but maybe removing some of that leathery spiciness from it. And I really liked Sunday Brunch as well. Nice citrus tea fragrance. But this definitely wins over those ones. I'm just going to spray it on my hand so you can see. The bottle is lovely, by the way. It's pretty typical for Miller Harris to have kind of the title on the front, name on the bottom, and then to see it etched on the back of the glass is that kind of nice floral leaf that's going on there. And definitely 3 different plants. I don't think the flower or the leaves there belong to the same plant, but it looks really nice. The sprayer here is pretty good. It's not Dior or Chanel level, but it's excellent as these things go. It doesn't really let you control the spray too much, but you get quite a bit, and it's nice diffuse spray. So let's talk about the scent profile. I already mentioned the elemi, but what you get right away is this beautiful, smooth, slightly powdery and slightly floral vetiver note. Now, the powdery floral is coming from iris. Iris is a wonderful supporting note here. This isn't a lipsticky or makeup-y iris, nor is it kind of that icy iris that you get in offerings like Dior Homme or Prada L'Homme. It really is just smooth and slightly creamy, really. There's nothing icy or sharp about the iris. And it brings out ever so slightly grassy, but mainly floral quality in the vetiver that is absolutely lovely. There's some spices in here too that are really kind of making things work. Black pepper is in here, and it's not a sharp black pepper at all, but it blends well with that vetiver and kind of brings out some of the slightly earthier qualities of the vetiver without making it smoky or dank in the way that vetiver can sometimes be. I'm thinking, for example, of spicy vetivers like Guerlain vetiver or Nishane's vetiver Sultan. They can be a little bit either overly grassy or overly dank or overly earthy, maybe, depending on your tastes. Or maybe Encre Noir is a good example of that too. That Cypress vetiver ISO-E Super Mix really does feel earthy, dirty. There's none of that going on in here. Yeah, there's also cardamom in here. And the cardamom comes out slightly more as this dries down. It's there in the start, and it's supporting it and bringing out, again, I think that's contributing to some of that floral note that you get from the vetiver. But the way that the cardamom kind of comes out, it intensifies into the mid and into the dry down. It's so nice. It's comforting. It's smooth, and I think it's really versatile. I can see wearing this in all but the coldest winter weather. I think it's going to work amazingly in the fall and in the springtime. It's the fall especially. This is just going to be gorgeous when you're going for a fall hike, when you're enjoying the cooler weather outside, when you're curling up by the fireplace as the weather begins to get colder. This is going to be amazing. And while that roasted kind of caramelized chestnut note that you get from other fragrances that are similar to this, like a Fat Electrician again, or Bal d'Afrique, or Vetiver Tonka from Hermes, there's a little bit that kind of sweetened vetiver, I think, which is coming from the cardamom iris LME mix there. Gives a little bit of that vibe, but it's much more kind of smooth floral than that. It doesn't really evoke chestnuts in the same way that those fragrances do, but it's doing something different and doing it really well. I mentioned in the intro, Miller Harris is kind of an overlooked house. They have some amazing, amazing scents. La Fumée, L'air de Rien. I have another one on my shelf called La Feuille, which is French for the leaf. And man, it captures the greenness of spring so well. I'm not sure that scent is quite as accessible as this one. This is really versatile and really crowd pleasing, if you ask me. And crowd pleasing in a way that isn't kind of in the blue direction of a lot of modern scents. It doesn't smell kind of overly youthful in the way that some of those do. This is wearable by, I think, everyone. I think maybe 25 plus is what it in terms of age it's going to work better if you're 25 or up. Not sure teenagers or early 20 somethings are going to go for this quite as well, but I love this as a 33-year-old. I think this is perfect for me. I'm so excited for the weather to get a little bit cooler and be able to wear this with a little bit more intensity. Sillage is average. It doesn't project enormously, but it's no slouch either. I think that's appropriate for the kind of fragrance that this is. I wouldn't want this to be a huge bomb, to be honest. And longevity is pretty good. It's above average. It's going to last you 6 or 7 hours on your skin, longer on clothes, for sure. And I love the way this develops on my skin, by the way. Oh yeah, the vetiver has, as it dries down, the vetiver develops a little bit more of an earthy quality to it. It's not overly earthy, it's not dirty in any way, but it's a smooth earthiness. It's that LME resin, I think, that's really coming into play, interacting with the pepper, interacting with the cardamom, the vetiver, obviously. And as the fragrance dries down, it becomes a little bit sweeter. There's an amber accord that's coming out, supported by the LME that works really well. This is a win, if you ask me, from Miller Harris. One of their best offerings that I've tried. And the price is pretty reasonable too. I think I got my bottle for $70 from FragranceNet, FragranceNet. But you can find it on eBay from reputable sellers. I've seen it on Fragrance X, and I've seen it at Fragrance Buys, the Canadian house or the Canadian perfume shop as well. I'm not sure what this goes for at retail, but certainly for the price that I paid, $70, yes, I'm entirely pleased with this. This is so likable. If you're all into slightly off the beaten path vetiver scents, I would say this is a safe blind buy. This is going to be in my collection forever. I think it's just so versatile without being boring or generic that, yeah, I'm really happy with this one. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in the review, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please feel free to do so you can be kept up to date with the latest reviews and lists and all the stuff that we do on the Nostril. This fragrance is available for purchase from various different online discounters, eBay, FragranceNet, FragranceX at the time of this review. Not sure how hard it'll be to find in the future. I don't think it's discontinued. It's just not talked about very much, and it deserves to be talked about more, if you ask me. As always, a written version of this review with a bit more detail will be posted on thenostril.com in the coming days or weeks, so check out thenostril.com if you want to read more. Thanks for listening, folks, and I hope if you do try Vetiver Insolent by Miller Harris, you enjoy it as much as I do. Cheers.